Hello and happy Thursday. I want to share something. I had a talk with my coach on yesterday and it was a tough talk. It was tough. And she was talking about self-awareness. And she says the lack of awareness will have you doing something you don't have the confidence for. The lack of self-awareness will have you doing something you don't have the confidence for. A lot of times when it comes to, doing things like this, we watch other people and try to do it like they do it and and then we start to wonder why it doesn't work. You can't win trying to be somebody else. You got to know what you have the capacity and confidence for. You can only be you. You can't be anybody else. You can do it like them, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Right? And so I thought about this book, The Mountain Is You. And in this book, it talks about self-sabotage. And to me, not having the self-awareness can cause you to have self-sabotaging behaviors and actions. And so I want to read a little bit. I want to share my notes from this, a little bit of my notes from this, because it all goes together. And also another video somebody sent me, and it was about how people steal your ideas. Like, say you're talking to somebody and then you see them doing the thing that you talked about. Like, and it makes you like, wait a minute. Or you see somebody, sharing something that sounds like, I tell people all the time, you can use my stuff. It doesn't matter to me. But some people may feel a way about that, right? And so I'm thinking about all of this stuff, this whole conversation, just how it just encompasses everything. So in The Mountain Is You, maybe you know your mountain or maybe you don't. Your mountain is the block between you and the life you want to live. And facing it is also becoming. A trigger showed you to your wound, and the wound will show you to your path, and your path will show you to your destiny. When you arrive to this breaking point, you're at the crux of your breakdown, the foot of the mountain, the foot that really breaks you. If you're willing to do your work, you find that it is the entryway to the breakthrough that you have spent your entire life waiting for. Your old self can no longer sustain the life you're trying to lead, and it's time for reinvention and rebirth. In the end, it's not the mountain you must master, but it's yourself. The mountain is you. You are that mountain. A lot of our behaviors are self-sabotaging. And here's the kicker. We don't know that they're self-sabotaging because we've been doing it for so long. We have no clue. We're just running on autopilot. There's nothing holding you back but you. Self-sabotage is an unconscious need that is being fulfilled by the self-sabotaging behaviors. Let me say that again. There's nothing holding you back but you. Self-sabotage is an unconscious need that is being fulfilled by the sabotaging behaviors. To overcome this, we must go through the process of deep psychological excavation. We must pinpoint the traumatic event, release those unprocessed emotions, and find healthier ways to meet our needs. Develop such as emotional intelligence and resilience. It's the work we must do at some point. Self-sabotage is not always obvious at the onset. We sabotage our behaviors because what we really want is to find ourselves, though we're afraid to be alone. Self-sabotage is just a coping mechanism we give ourselves what we need without actually addressing what the need really is. Just like any other coping mechanism, it's just a way to cope, and we're merely numbing our desires. Self-sabotage comes from irrational fear. Sometimes our most self-sabotaging behaviors are our fears of the world and ourselves. The idea of intelligent the idea of unintelligent or dislike or fear or fear of losing a job or taking an elevator or committing to relationships. These beliefs become attachments over time. The abstract fear is really a representation of a legitimate fear because it's too scary to dwell on. The real fear we project onto ourselves or our circumstances that are less likely to occur. So say you try that thing and it don't work. What's the worst thing? What's the worst thing? Say you have an event and nobody shows up. Who gonna know? Say you make an investment and you lose money or you go broke. Is it the first time? The things that we're scared of is like we've already experienced that. If you're afraid to be a passenger in a car, maybe your real fear is loss of control, or the idea that someone else is controlling your life, and perhaps the fear is of moving forward. That's an example. If you are aware of the real fear, you will be able to move forward. If you try to fix the problem on the surface, we'll always come up against a wall. This is because you're trying to rip off the Band-Aid before you have the strategy to heal the wound. Unconscious negative associations is one of the first signs that your inner narrative is outdated and limited or simply incorrect. Your life is defined not only about what you think, but it's about what you think about yourself. Your self-concept that you have spent your whole life building was created by inputs and pieces of those around you. What your parents believe, what your peers thought. Self-sabotaging comes from the unfamiliar human being experience, a natural resistance to the unknown, upper limits or tolerance for happiness. We are programmed to seek what we know. Self-sabotaging comes from our belief systems. And what we believe about your life is what you will make true about your life. Your limiting beliefs may come up from wanting to keep yourself safe. Your limiting beliefs may come up from wanting to keep yourself safe. To truly heal, you're going to have to change the way you think. You have to become conscious of negative and false beliefs and start shifting to a mindset that actually serves you. We have to love ourselves too much to stop settling for less than what we deserve. The first step to healing anything is taking full accountability and stop being in denial. It's not about your life. It's not about what your life looks like on the outside. It's about what it feels like on the inside. The greatest act of self-love is no longer accepting a life that you're not happy with. I want to say that again. The greatest act of self-love is no longer accepting a life you're not happy with. Take a piece of paper and pen out and write out the things you're not happy with, and write every single problem you face. Write every bill, every income. Get out of denial and get into clarity about how you feel. Rock bottom is where we begin our healing. Rock bottom is where we begin on our healing journey. So and here's the thing, work on one area at a time. Do it before and after. Where are you now, right? That's the before. And where do you plan to be? That's after, right? We have to be self-aware. Self-awareness is everything. It's not nobody holding us back. We're holding ourselves back. There are people, when they get stuck, it's everything else around. It's everything else but them. Well, this happened and that happened. And life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. Life is not always going to go the way that you plan for it to go. So you got to plan for the disruptions. You got to plan for the things that just break down. You got to plan for it. You got to plan for the people when they start peopling. But you got to be self-aware of your self-sabotaging behaviors. So I just wanted to share that because it was hard to hear. Because there's some things that I'm not doing. You can't get mad at results you're not getting from the work that you're not doing. I just wanted to say that. Self-awareness. We have to become self-aware of our self-sabotaging behaviors. And those behaviors are not always obvious, obviously. So just check in. If you're not happy with your life, happy with yourself, look at what you're doing. How are you self-sabotaging you? What are those self-sabotaging behaviors? How do you plan to get from where you are to where you want to be? The first step is awareness. Self-awareness is key. That's all I wanted to drop that on you. It might have been heavy. Nevertheless, charge it to the head and not the heart. If we want to get better, we have to become aware of our blind spots. And these are our blind spots, whether we know it or not. First step is awareness. That's all I got. Have an amazing Thursday on purpose.